Cash, why don't you start a podcast?
Okay, so the funny thing is I actually have done one.
You've done one.
I did one. We tried it.
Because I see you thought about it in like 2016.
Yeah, thought about it, did it. We did a couple of episodes. It's actually me, there's a good friend of mine, Dagger, and Gabby G. Gabby G.
What?
Yeah, we tried it.
What happened to this podcast?
It didn't work. Gabby lived out in Hutch at the time.
Yeah, but
So it was like we were trying to get the schedules to coordinate, and it just didn't work. So
me and Four Times have said 1,000 times that if we could start point proving all over again,
You'd have
and
Gabby.
we had Gabby G available,
Yeah.
she would be the perfect co-host.
Yeah, she was good. And like we had real good banter. Dagger was an idiot. But like he was just, he's just real outlandish. And then it was me, kind of the straight cat, and then Gabby G. And it was good, but we just couldn't get our schedules to coordinate. So
dang, that's something that was missed out on. That could have been special.
It could have been. Because
like I saw like you had the idea in 2016, and like Point Proven started in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I was like, Cash was like on it.
Yeah,
before everybody else.
I'd actually we had a demo episode, and I let some other people hear it, just kind of to get their thoughts on it. And
I have to hear that demo.
It's rough, but I
have to hear it.
But I think it was like a good idea, but ultimately we just couldn't get the schedules to coordinate. And to be honest, like podcasting, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm compelling enough of a host to come to podcast. So that's why I'm doing the block party. I think that's a little bit more my speed. You don't like that answer?
I disagree.
Why you say that?
The reason why I disagree is because I think that you can keep a conversation, but like I don't think just you by yourself.
Right.
I think if you had people to interact with, especially like a group, a room, like, I got an idea for a show.
I mean, and it was fun. Like I learned a lot, just even in podcasting.
You're a good talker. I'll give it to you.
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right.
You're good. That's that rapper in you, that cockiness. Okay, so I want to know what you think the difference is between James and Cash Hollistah.
James is like real mild-mannered, real quiet, super introverted. Like doesn't really talk a whole lot. Cash is more the boisterous, the cocky, the more outgoing person. And so like it is kind of a split personality. Like I'm like a pretend extrovert.
What is it about them that has to live off of each other?
I think the creative release of being Cash, that helps. Because James, for the most part, is at mentoring 7th grade boys.
Got you.
He's got 3 girls at home.
Are you content with that though? Because I think that you love creating, but I feel like no matter what you do, you're gonna find a creative lane and make something out of that.
Yeah.
And I believe that music is your first love. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
But I also believe that with the life that you've built outside of music, you would possibly be content with that life.
I'm starting to be content with it. With the life outside of music.
Does it come with age? Does it come with, having children, being a husband?
I think it's a combination of all that and just me sort of tiring of the music industry. I'm just learning a lot about it. And the more that I've learned, like even in these like 10, 15 years that I've been around, the more that I learned, and especially the way that things have switched now to where streaming is the new way of consumption. I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in the game as it is. So just finding other ways to be creative, trying to get behind the scenes. And, I feel like that's where the money is, to be honest.
You started off though, I think so, more behind the scenes as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I spoke to a couple people about you.
Okay.
And
all right.
One person said that they actually remember you DJing an event when they were younger.
Yeah.
And then the other one said that they heard of you. You came to something and you actually were speaking at an event.
Yeah.
So they knew you from two complete different situations.
Right.
So I just think, it's interesting everything that's in front of you right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a hyphenate. Like I do a lot of things.
You wear a lot of hats.
Wear a lot of hats. And so, yeah. So that it doesn't surprise me that certain people would know me for certain things outside of music. Okay. Like I think people at home right now probably just now started catching on to me as a host of a radio show.
And you've been around forever.
Been around 15 years.
You've been around forever.
Long time.
When I did my homework on you, I seen a lot of shows. Mm-hmm. You on a lot of flyers. Mm-hmm. Whether that's an XV event, mm-hmm. whether that's you throwing an event for free in your city. Right. You have a lot of history. Yeah. But with all that history, we touched on it a little bit before, as far as you being a husband and you being a father. What does your family think of Cash Hollistah and the other side, saying the other side of the work daddy does, or, the time away that, your wife, you have from her?
My wife is ready for Cash to be done. She's been like...
Not surprised.
Yeah. No, she's been super supportive for as long as I've really been doing that. Like she was around maybe about 3 or 4 years after like Cash really started to bubble, that whole thing.
So how long are we talking about? 10 plus years?
Mm-hmm. We've been together for about 15 years. So she was there like right when it was about to bubble and like when I had moved to Atlanta. So she's been around. So she's ready for the next chapter. The girls love it. Yeah, the girls love it because
they know exactly how poppin' pops is.
In Salina, they do.
Okay.
In Salina, they do. Like, yeah, they get to flex a little bit.
That's dope.
For
That's dope.
For the school kids, dope. But yeah, but no, they enjoy it.
Which one's the musician?
The musician.
Which one do you see like they might have that?
It may be the youngest, Taya. I don't like. She hasn't done any sort of musical training yet, but like I think she has like the star power that I think once you harness like the musical talent or whatever, I think she might do it. Jasmine wants to rap. Jasmine's the middle one. She wants to rap, but what I tell her is she's got to learn a musical instrument because you're not going to be thinking that you can just upload some stuff to SoundCloud just because that's the way. You know what I mean? Like so.
She's gonna have bars.
But that's who I kind of think. If I was to actually put a finger on who I think would be the music. Yeah.
All right, so we're about to do a history lesson. So
okay.
This is how I learned about Cash Hollistah. So we're going back 2011, 2012.
Wow.
2012, actually.
Okay.
And I have a roommate at the time. His name is Cliff Bunville.
Cliff. Systematic.
Exactly.
Okay.
Systematic.
Yeah.
And this is around the time period that Cliff and Angelo are kind of working on music here and there. Cliff isn't really working on music because he was more in church. He was more, getting into the ministry.
Right.
And congratulations to Cliff now because he's an ordained minister.
Yeah.
But he was just getting in that process. And so he says, bro, you have to listen to this. And it turns out it's Gorilla.
Yeah. Okay.
So I hear it and I'm like, this is crazy. And he's like, bro, the video is going to be such and such date. We got to be there. I'm like, bet. I ended up having to work that day.
You weren't there.
And I'm heated.
Yeah.
Heated.
Yeah.
But then he tells me that the video is dropping. And I don't know if I'm right or not, but tell me if I'm right. It dropped during the Super Bowl halftime?
Yes. Super Bowl halftime.
What made you do that?
I figured...
And that wasn't the first time.
That was the first time I started that.
Not the last time.
That wasn't the last time. Because I knew that's one of the larger gatherings of people to like a television screen.
Got you.
So
and that was a crazy video.
Yeah. And I mean, that was also the same Super Bowl when Beyonce performed, but the lights went out. So like for 30 minutes, I use that as, hey, watch this video.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
While this is happening.
Did it work?
Oh, it worked. Yeah, we got. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot.
It was a good
of
number.
views. It was a real good number.
Do you think, you personally, do you think that Gorilla or Jump is your biggest song?
Gorilla,
Hands down.
And Jump.
You had success with it.
Yeah, with Jump, I've had a lot of success with that.
It made it in the top 3 nationally, as far as in its.
In Christian, genre? Yeah, it was number 2. It went to number 2.
It went to number 2. Okay.
It went to number 2 and stayed there for I think a couple of weeks. Before
that's
falling
big.
off, but yeah, that was
that's
a big thing.
That's big because like people don't realize the names that also come on that list, and it's not just in the state of Kansas; it's national.
Yeah,
so that's major. Yep. Once I would listen to your music and I started learning more about you, the question came up: is Cash Hollister a Christian rapper, or is he happen to be a Christian that raps?
So obviously this isn't a new question.
Not at all.
No, that's been going around for years. But I think I've just landed upon I'm whatever. I'm whatever you say I am. You know, if you say I'm a rapper as a Christian, cool. If I'm a Christian rapper, cool.
I don't view you as a Christian rapper though.
Why do you say that?
Because
is it like subject matter or just the way that I rap?
You can float in different, like I'm not gonna put you on a club track. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
But if I wanted to put you on that boom bap, just straight up bars, I can call Cash Hollister. Whether like it's not gonna have cussing in it, but if you deliver with bars, who really pays attention to that?
Right.
So I can put you in more than just a Christian rap based like type of music.
So you're thinking more so genre than like
you're a rapper.
Yeah.
You're a hip hop rapper.
Yeah.
And whether like what faith you are a part of, and yes, it's going to speak through your music.
Right.
It's also you can be considered a rapper, but also a motivational rapper.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's kind of how I look at my music. It's like motivational, not in the Jeezy way, but it's motivational nonetheless. Like Jump is a motivational trap song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you listen to the lyrics and shout out to Lando. But yeah, if you listen to it, even just from the hook, like
it's catchy.
Yeah. Gotta live these dreams before I'm dead. So like that's kind of the impetus for what I do.
Do you consider yourself a minister?
Not really.
Not really? Because they say that sometimes that rappers are ministers.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like if that's how people view it, that's cool.
You're at this point at this age where you're like, I don't really care about how you classify me. Just acknowledge me for what it is.
Yeah. Just don't call me whack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm not whack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm everything except that. But
Have you been called wacky?
Yeah.
How do you take that?
It's an insult. Like I don't take too kindly to that, but I feel like that I've put in enough work, and like I'm versatile enough, and I can show you that it's going to be more if that's what you like. If you don't prefer my type of music, that's cool, but I don't think whack would probably be the word I would use to describe it.
No,
you know what I mean? So yeah, but gospel rapper, Christian rapper is Christian.
Don't matter.
Rapper, I don't care.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up and being around your father in the process of him getting into the ministry?
Growing up.
Because I heard in a previous interview you said that you were like, you didn't know how to explain it. You were like, I grew up in church. I didn't really grow up in church. You were like, well, yeah, I did. Because like my dad became a minister. I got baptized at 7. And like 4 years later, he became a minister. Yeah. So it's like, okay, in that growing up, he was in the process of growing into the ministry. Right. So I'm just curious because like when me growing up, my grandfather was a pastor. Right. So like I grew up, he was a pastor already. You know what I'm saying? Right. Had a church already, you know what I'm saying? Been doing it for years. Yeah. What was it like just getting into like, you know, in the process of going on that?
Well, like, I think for my dad, it was a little different because of my mom. On my mom's side of the family, like, you know, gospel family roots run real deep. My dad, my granddad is a deacon. I don't think he is now, but he was a deacon at a church in DC. And so I've always grown up sort of in the gospel lineage. Kojic was kind of the bloodline for a while. And so for when my dad decided to be a pastor, it was sort of natural. The only difference was that the denomination wasn't Kojic. We was Kojic for a while, and then when he made the switch to Foursquare, which was more mainline evangelical, I think it was just different because we were dealing more so with a white congregation as opposed to a mainly black congregation. So just navigating both of those worlds was that sort of opened my eyes to just the differences in how churches are run and operate.
To that difference, because that's a huge difference. Kojic, that's top of the top when it comes to like black church. You know what I'm saying? That's black. That's the church that white people think we have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not all black churches is like that, but when Kojic is a stereotype. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you transitioning to it's half and half.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen how those services go.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference.
Super big difference. And you know, from like a Kojic church that, I mean, even in Salina, you know, it's different. And so it was, you know,
different.
Yeah, it's different. It's, you know, stylistically, musically, it's different. But those experiences actually really helped shape the versatility and me and just enjoying different types of music and being able to play and coexist with those types. So like I just finished before coming to this interview, I just finished a set at New Spring Church. You know, but at the same time, I can turn right around and go to St. Mark's. And do something. I did that, you know, a year ago. You know what I mean? So like that sort of just added to my portfolio a little bit.
I got you. What have your parents thought about your music career?
As far as rapping, Dad was the first one to like champion it. My mom was not, as like, you know, she, again, Kojic, so it was kind of, it was a little strict. I wasn't able to really listen to a lot of secular music growing up. You know, I had to sneak in the EPMDs and the NWAs and all that. But I think once she kind of saw what I was capable of, you know, even though I was like 10 or 11, she started coming around to it. And, you know, she, you know, up until she passed, like she was a huge supporter. Yeah.
When did all this start?
As far as what?
When did the music, the career and everything start? Because as far as I can see, my history dated back to 99, 2001.
Okay. So
that's as far back as I can get with Cash House.
That's industry.
Yeah.
But as far as like when the whole music thing started, like I said, I've grown up in a gospel family. So I've played drums. Our family, we used to sing. So we had like a gospel traveling family. You know, so like 5, 6, 7 years old, we was doing the gospel traveling family singing thing, and then I realized I really couldn't sing. You know, so like 9, so I was 9 when I started rapping. Like that's when I realized, okay, this is what I want to do.
Singing ain't gonna be it, Lord.
Nah. I heard, I saw EPMD's video. You Got to Chill. I saw it on MTV Raps. It's at my grandma's house in DC, and I was like, all right, that's what I want to do. So that's what got me rapping, and you know, I wrote my little raps, and I think the first big rap when I was little was like a Just Say No rap. It's a talent show that I did for the school.
All of them started a talent show.
Yeah, and so I won the talent show with the rap. So then I was like, all right, that's it. That's what I want to
do. Being from Salina, you know, Salina's not that big of a town.
No. It's about 50,000.
What studio do you use? Do you mix your own music? Is it all you, or do you?
No. Sometimes I come down to Wichita. Like I rock with Mixdown Studios quite a bit.
Okay.
Corey's my guy, Young C. We've been doing that off and on for a few years, but mostly most of my stuff was mixed at a time. It was mixed in Kansas City.
Got you.
And then my engineer moved to Lawton, Oklahoma, so I just kind of send my stuff to him, and he knocks it out there.
So
sometimes it's Wichita or Lawton.
It's Wichita.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. You said before that if your daughter wanted to start rapping, you said she would have to pick up an instrument. What instruments did you pick up along your journey?
Drums, which I still play to this day. I've been drumming. Yep, that's how it started. So did that, and then I still do it.
You can play on the keyboard too, can't you?
No,
you can't do the do.
Oh, I can play California Love on there. That's it. That's literally it.
That's crazy.
But like I can play bass a little bit, but bass and drums are primarily my thing.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, so I have to read this because I cannot memorize all this.
Okay.
Cash Hollistah, a sheriff who killed 16 outlaws with 2 6-shooters. Mm-hmm. And when someone asked how he did it, and he said it must have been the hand of the Lord. Mm-hmm. And that's where you were inspired with the name Cash Hollistah. Mm-hmm. What moment would you say it must be the Lord in your career?
I think to be able to still travel, to do music for songs that are 8 years old. Mm. You know what I mean? Like I still get, the royalty checks aren't as big.
But you have songs that are gonna live.
But that live for that have lived for a very long time. So the fact that I still get called to do shows based off of a song that has, been out for half a decade or over half a decade. And it's like, that's gotta be God to me, to be able to travel outside of the country to rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those type of things. It's hard work. It's preparation. It's all of that. But people have to listen.
Where are some places that hip hop is taking you? You've gotten to?
To Helene, Honduras, for one. Got to rap in Honduras, and that was a while ago. But and I'm trying to make a return trip back there. But was like a really big deal for me to do that. Maine. So just different parts of the country. So Maine, like places I would have never saw ever.
You wouldn't even thought that you wanted to travel to.
The Upper Peninsula of Michigan. You know what I mean? Like
I had no interest.
Like why would I be in Sault Ste. Marie? You know what I mean? Which is like right by the Canadian border. Like I have no idea why I'd be there, but they booked me for a show.
Been out to Canada yet?
Yeah. Like I'm just like over, but but like those type of places to rap, you know what I'm saying? Like that's been crazy to me. So that's where I feel like this really has been a God thing more so than anything.
This little kid, the little James like that was younger, does he kind of like creep out from time to time and like kind of not fan out? But kind of just like, you gotta just soak it all in. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you have that big show, you know what I'm saying? Cause like I said, you've done shows, you've been around the likes of XV. You know what I'm saying? You've opened up. Didn't you open up for the Crit show?
Yeah, Crit. Naughty by Nature too, Riverfest. Nappy Roots.
Like, do you sometimes, and that Chris show was bad.
Chris show was, he did his thing, but it was like.
He gave a performance for that crowd.
Yeah, but that was.
I was one of the 14 out there. In the
it was disheartening to say the least.
That was sad.
But just be able to do shows with legends is always a thing. Like that was something that I always thought could happen. But it's still surreal, like it'll never not be surreal. Like whenever you get asked to do something, this magnitude. So like to do South by Southwest, and an official South by Southwest showcase, not one to pay to play, but like an actual South by Southwest showcase.
Now that's big play. I like that talk.
So yeah, so like that has always been mind-boggling to me to do, river festivals and conferences and stuff like that. Yeah.
What do you think about South by Southwest being canceled?
That's big. And it's not even like they're gonna lose. I think they bring $350 million to Austin every year. So that's a $350 million hit. And I think that this is it's gonna be the start of the domino falling.
Yeah.
Like I think Coachella's next.
Yeah.
I think
I had a feeling about South by Southwest because about 3 or 4 days ago, I heard Amazon
pulled out. Netflix did too, same with Apple.
And when I heard that, I said,
yeah,
that's a big check going.
Yeah.
That's a mighty big check.
Yeah. So
and it was just like you said, it's been a domino effect. Like I think Coachella's gonna be next.
Yeah. They're talking sporting events too.
I think WrestleMania is in 4 weeks and it's in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And that doesn't look too bad. I was supposed to I just found out that the Joe Budden podcast is going to be in Texas next month. Now I got to really think about it. I got to make that tough decision.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here in the next few months. I mean, NBA's already talking about just playing games without fans.
LeBron said he ain't playing.
I mean,
you gonna make that check.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, man.
Because they're talking about doing that possibly for the Olympics. And then they also said that there's going to be a few soccer games this year. They're going to be empty arenas. That's going to be weird to see.
That's going to be crazy. Because I have no idea, like, just even, like, from cameras, like, camera production on that end, like,
so I say we go all out with it. NBA-wise, I say we test a couple camera angles that we might not be able to normally do. I say we go ahead and turn the music up.
The artificial crowd noise? You think?
No,
so?
I say we just let the music rock, like it's like some street ball.
Okay, I like that idea. I really do. Like
and you can kind of hear like a little bit more of what they're saying on the court. I ain't gonna lie, that's gonna be kind of lit.
NBA unfiltered. That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Team up with HBO and get to us. This is where you might hear a couple of people. I'm with that.
That might work. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you too, and while we're off subject, when I talk about you, what do you think about this Meg Thee Stallion stuff?
Okay, so
you've been in this boat. You've looked at this situation like this could have been me.
Yeah, and it was. 09 Cash would have signed that deal. She signed that around the same time, which I thought was crazy. But yeah, like if you're in a situation where like you really just need that, like a quick come up and then somebody comes to you, like a Carl Crawford, comes and says, here you go.
Hands this money off to you.
Yeah.
And then as far as like publishing and stuff like that, 50-50 as a new artist, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that looked incredibly great, even though it was janky. But I feel like a lot of new artists, I think even to this day, have janky deals. Like I think it's always gonna favor the label. Yeah. If you're gonna go that route.
Always.
So it didn't surprise me that happened. And she said that she didn't really understand some of the language. I think,
that applies for every artist though.
Oh yeah.
Because like you gotta understand in that contract, there's words placed in certain positions in a certain way that not even a regular lawyer could understand.
That's why you get an entertainment lawyer.
You have to get an entertainment lawyer.
Yes, get an ententainment lawyer.
And they're still gonna miss a couple of lines.
But like if you get a real popping entertainment lawyer that's about their business, that's where you investing your career comes in. Like you gotta invest in that.
You gotta go ahead and go get that loan.
Get that, yeah. I mean, you also need to read that Passman book. All you need to know about the music business. That's going to tell you a lot. Like that's the music Bible. So, I think what I tell up and coming artists is that's the first book you need to read. Okay. All you need to know about the music business. I think it's at the 10th edition right now. Get it. Go to Barnes & Noble, get that.
Read all of them.
Or the library, get that.
You were just at Barnes & Noble.
I was, man. Yeah.
What did you pick up?
I picked up how money works and how business works. So it's like a visual book, and it was really like for my girls. I wanted them to kind of see that, and then I picked up some like life hacking books.
Dope.
So,
Dope.
Yeah.
So, did you grow up in Salina?
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Salina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I lived in Salina from summer of 2010 to the summer of 2011.
Why so short?
I went to college.
Okay.
Okay. But crazy enough, I've always had family that's lived in Salina.
Oh, okay.
I've had a couple of aunts, a couple of uncles. Westcliff Church is
St. John's.
John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have family members that have been there for years, that are active members there for years. Every summer, we would take a trip up to Salina to go visit family.
Right.
If not every other month.
Yeah.
So I was in Salina active. I've made some bad decisions in Salina.
Most people do.
Is Brown Mackey still the college that you don't want to go around?
Brown Mackey is actually no longer in existence.
It no longer exists?
As of like 3 years ago, I think they shut down.
When I was there, they said you never want to date a girl or mess with a girl that
from
went
Brown
to
Mackey. Yeah. Can't lie. There's been a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
I can tell you about Brown Mackey.
What was the club? Inferno was open.
Mm-hmm.
So we were active in Inferno.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace.
Oh.
Yeah, that shut down too. That shut down maybe 5-6 years ago.
One thing about Salina people sleep on too, they have one of the best, it's like this little burger shake spot right by this college. Bogies.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken that y'all closed Western Sizzle.
Yeah.
Fire. Fire.
Yeah.
Crazy story. My car broke down and I had to walk from Western Sizzling to the dorms at Kansas Wesleyan in the snow.
Ew,
in
yikes.
the snow.
Yikes.
It was a horrible experience. I don't know if I can really step foot in Salina right now.
Oh, you got a couple.
At least let 10 years go by. At least
got a couple pins.
You are very passionate about being positive and reaching out to young youth.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire that from you because that's one thing that my grandfather was acknowledged for, very passionate about. He always said that as long as we have a youth, we'll have a church.
Mm-hmm.
That was something, that he was very, very, very big on. But being born and raised in Salina, you've seen the good and you've seen the bad.
Yep.
What is something that you feel like as not just as a community, but just as like a nation, you feel like we've let young people down on?
That's such a multi-layered question. What I will say, our education system is not good at all.
Yeah.
And I think in dealing with 7th grade boys now, and I just started doing that in August and being really there. I've always, seen the stories. I have friends that have been teachers, all that. Gotcha. But it wasn't until I really got, into the thick of things, with the boys and sort of, seeing if their grades are good or whatever, that I noticed like, man, our education system is terrible.
Bad. Yeah.
Like terrible. So I think there's that. And then I think too, with our generation, what we haven't done well is talk to the youth and listen.
Yeah.
I
think that's
like listen.
I agree.
That was something, and that was kind of why I wanted to do the job that I'm in, was because I felt myself being grumpy. I felt myself starting to be the grumpy old man that, hated the little punks and like, get off my lawn, you know what I mean? Like that type. And so the best way for me to sort of connect with them is really just to be in the trenches with them. And so I think that is something that I think our generation and our nation hasn't really done a good job of. It's like really just being empathetic and listening to our kids' struggles. We just throw a bunch of answers, or these are our thoughts and our opinions, and that's something I'm still working on. Just even with my girls, I find myself fussing at them a whole lot and not really just kind of understanding and letting them talk and listen.
Yeah, we have to understand how different people learn. Mm-hmm. We all, because I think that we get frustrated sometimes is because sometimes an answer can be so black and white to us, but to someone else. And I've learned this through marriage as well. Me and my wife, you hear us talk, and it'll sound like two complete different
conversations. Yeah.
Two complete different conversations. But in the end of all of it, we would get into the same stuff. It was the exact same thing. And I think that if we just stop for a second and kind of just shut up and like listen to these youth, because they have ideas as well. And if you listen to the youth, you can hear the future.
Yeah.
We don't need a fortune teller. We have them right here. They're showing us the stuff that they're interested in, the stuff that like we have to take advantage of the way that they learn as well. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like the way that they learn now. I mean, with and hate it or love it, the way that they learn stuff on Google Chrome books now, as opposed to just regular pen and pad, and the way that they sort of consume things is different than we do, and the way that they learned. Like we learned linear, the way kids learn math is crazy, and I don't understand it whatsoever.
Are you talking about that
the common core or whatever? Like nuts. Like, and I'm still not really all the way with that.
It's a waste of time, bro.
Yeah.
It's a waste. Yeah. Like if my kid can figure out the problem right here, why do they need to create a whole nother problem?
Yeah.
To show you the answer.
And that's something that people have told me, and I still am like, no, this doesn't make any sense. It still doesn't make sense to me. So
how is that going to further what we are doing now? Going back and teaching people a different way to do addition, how is that going to benefit us 30 years from now?
I'm not entirely sure, man. I'm really not. Like I don't
see it.
I don't see it.
Like I wasn't looking for the answer. When I'm asking this, I'm making it like a statement. Like I don't understand this.
Yeah. I don't get it. And so I'm learning to exercise patience a lot when dealing with some of the education side. Because sometimes the new methods are not, I don't feel conducive. So I think still, the way that we learn things for the most part, I feel like are still sound and can still be applicable today. But like you said, kids think different. There's different ways of sort of engaging with them. And so, listen to them. The new wave of music, hate it or love it. I understand it. I understand the vibes. I'm with it. I'm still the elitist.
Like it or not,
right?
You respect that they have their own.
Yeah,
they have it.
And I'm still an elitist, and I'm still like a pure snob. But I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. So,
dang, what was I about to say about that? Dang. What do you think about as far as schooling? What do you think about how they're teaching now? Should we try different things? Because I think that each kid's gonna have a passion in something different. And I think that we should explore and learn more about what sparks the kids' interest, and let them go in that direction if they show interest at an early age. Because not every what I do for a living, I don't need to have history. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could have learned more history about my culture. You know what I'm saying? My people when I was a kid, instead of learning about the presidents and all this other stuff. I know that there are some kids that feel like they didn't need math or they didn't need science. Like they turned in this direction.
Right. I think the STEM part, the science and technology and engineering and math. Like, I think that those still are building blocks. Those are essential to the system. But I think too that, like, going to school and for basic standardized testing, for whatever weird standards that either the state has or like the national department have, like that needs to change. Like, I do think that, why are we so concerned about that and we're not concerned about financial literacy for kids? You know what I'm saying? Not concerned about just basic, like, life skills. Again, like to have the home ec class. I mean, to learn trades and things of that nature. And I think, some schools still do that, but maybe not to the extent that maybe we used to have it.
No.
You know what I mean? Not at all.
Because home ec or whatever, just like that class is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't know of any school in Wichita that teaches that.
Yeah, and I don't think Salina does either.
I'm sure there's some schools, some smaller counties,
or maybe maybe some of the private schools. But like as far as public schools, that I don't think that that's existent anymore. And I think that there needs to be a shift of that. I think if we're always just if kids are just learning to regurgitate information and just to make sure that they're scoring good on tests so that schools can get more money. And like, that's a dumb cycle. That's not helping anybody
at all.
So that's something that I would love to see change.
One thing that I have to give it to you about is that through your career, you have been 100% you. I don't feel like at any point, just looking through your history and just knowing you and being aware of you since 2011, I don't feel like you've changed who you are for anyone or any, particular reason. But I feel like that's an issue in 2020.
Which mean?
I feel like a lot of artists, they're not authentic. They're trying to more so portray things that they see.
You think that's just a 2020 thing?
No, it's been going on.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Forever. It's been going on forever. Trust me. But I think it's even worse than it was before. I think that it's at an all time now because, just an example, there's certain artists now, Mozzie or Moneybagg Yo or something like this. I can go here in Wichita and I can show you about 5 artists. They're in the exact same lane and they sound all the same. It's recyclable bars. What do you think, where do you think you found success in just being you?
I think in reaching other audiences that weren't getting reached through the Mozzies or the Moneybagg Yos. So even back in my day, like the Master P's and the Juveniles and the Boosies, you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole different lane that's not me at all. So I think the ones that found like the boom bap, but then also wanted, a little bit of an inspirational bent to it and like some uplifting bent to it, but still loved lyricism. Gotcha. Like I hit those lanes. I knew that I wasn't like growing up, like I said, I've been in the church, so I know nothing about street life. Yeah. So that was something that, I couldn't do. Like, even if I wanted to portray that, it wouldn't work because my city knows. They know my dad, they knew my mom, like they know my brother and sister, they know me. So like the moment, like if I was to blow up and talk like while talking about drugs and coke and all that stuff, they would not ride. So I think it was just, hey, this is kind of this is who I am, and I'm gonna just rap what I know. And that was kind of what hip hop to me was really just like, you rap about the things that you know. And
telling your story.
Yep, telling your story. Just being your most authentic self. So even if you're telling stories, you're still doing it in a way that's you.
Got you.
And so that's kind of where I started, and that's where I feel like it's helped. And being okay with being me. Like I tell kids now, like, do you and suffer the consequences. Consequences aren't always bad. consequences can be good. So I feel like the consequences of me doing me have helped me tremendously.
Gotcha.
So,
tell me a little bit about Die Daily.
Die Daily is a group of, it's more like a brotherhood of
out of
Oklahoma City, based primarily there, of MCs, DJs, singers, graphic designers, preachers, community members, and we're just kind of all together, and we kind of serve our communities, our respective communities. It's primarily in Oklahoma, but there's, besides myself, there's cats in Oklahoma, in Kansas City, Tennessee, New York, I want to say Texas. And so like we sort of live by the verse in Galatians 5:24, where it talks about those who are, crucified with Christ, put to the cross, their own sinful or their own desires and their own passion. So basically, like we die to self, we live for Christ, and we serve others. Mm-hmm. So we serve our communities in our respective places, sometimes to the detriment of our own careers. Gotcha. Because we're invested in building our communities and seeing that thrive more so than in our own careers.
How did that connection happen?
Cadence, shout out to Cadence OKC. He's the guy that was kind of behind it. I started seeing it, like on Twitter, just this Die Daily movement. And Sean C. Johnson was one that I had also seen sort of rep the brand. And so he had came and did a show in Salina one time. Actually, it was a St. John's event, and he had came and did a show, and I just came to see him because that's like one of my good friends. And so I was just like, yo, man, what is this Die Daily thing about? So he kind of like he broke it down and told me, and I was like, man, I want to be a part of that. So, it took a few months, did some back and forth with Cadence, and then, then I joined that, and then since then I, was able to bring some people around. So like A Ward, jumped on board, the battle rapper, and quite a few cats. Dre B, used to be from Wichita. CJ Lucky's, yeah. So, So, and we do, like I said, they're some of my brothers, man. We get into it every once in a while, but like, we love getting together and, serving. So it's really been good. It's really been beneficial for me to just have brothers outside of my own city who I can talk to, and almost nationwide. I can reach out to somebody in San Diego, like, yo, man, we can go anywhere reasonably.
Network just available.
Yeah. So in addition to that, I just think the brotherhood is strong, and it's always good to have brothers who encourage you.
Definitely.
So.
Tell me, let's take it back a little bit.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about early career.
Okay.
Tell me about Church on the Move.
Okay. That was a good one. Church, I wasn't really involved with Church on the Move. Every once in a while I was when I used to live.
03 and 05.
I did shows there, but I wasn't like super involved. But like my pastor, like one of my mentors was a pastor at a Church on the Move, the Urban 180, Lee Wilson. Okay. And so that's kind of who I was under. But I think most of the shows that I did was with the DJ I was working with at the time, DJ Raven. And so like he would bring me in there, and then we would do some Church on the Move stuff. And then specifically like their camps, I would do like some of the camp songs. Like I would rap, make up some of the camp songs. And so
that's hard.
Yeah. So they bring me in to do that, and that's kind of how that whole relationship started.
Okay. You being a man of your faith, mm-hmm. Do you often get labeled in the Christian category of he's judgmental, you can't mess around, Cash Hollistah.
I'm sure. Yeah. Sins. Yeah. I think that happens. I think people which is, I mean, it's good or bad. I think people like they watch what they say around me sometimes, which is fine.
Right now.
Yeah, he been wanting to drop F-bombs the entire time. But I mean, it's a respect thing, and I appreciate it. But I think, yeah, some people just kind of assume that because I'm Christian, holier than thou, super righteous, judgmental and stuff like that. And I'm just like, nah, man, I'm like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I got issues. I got problems too. I'm a scumbag too. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and
you're petty too.
Yeah.
You like all the petty stuff too.
Yeah, I mean,
Ashton got me in some trouble a couple of times. Like he just like sometimes he'll bring something to my eye, like, oh, I didn't know if you knew this or not. Talk to you soon. See how this goes.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not, you know, like it's cliche, but it's like, nah, I'm not perfect, man. And so, you know, just be yourself around me. And like I said, I'm judging, but not in the way that you're thinking.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's always funny when people are like, yo, don't judge me. I'm like, I've probably judged you twice already, but it's all, all good. Yeah.
You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, but it's all good.
Zodiac sign?
I don't.
When's your birthday?
I don't think about that stuff. I think it's Aries.
Aries?
It's Aries.
Okay.
Yeah.
You haven't talked to XV in a while, have you?
It's been a while.
Yeah, that's what he's big.
Oh yeah. That's his thing.
Yeah. He didn't tell me about myself.
I think he did that with me, like when we did a show in Hutch.
He's working on a book.
Yeah. You have heard about it? Yeah.
Cash, do you agree with everything I say?
No.
I wouldn't expect you to say yeah. I wouldn't expect you to say yeah. From the K didn't start as a playlist. What did it originally?
Okay, so I'm from the K started as a merch line. Mm-hmm. I'm from the K, and actually, to be honest, like it started as a line in Gorilla. So that's the first line you hear. I'm from the K.
No, there's a space.
Yeah, I'm from the K.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, that's got to be a shirt. And so that is kind of how that started. And the guy who did my lyric video, shout out Ramon Rodriguez, I used that particular logo, and I was like, this is it. So it started as a merch line, and it went really well. And then I just moved on to something else, and so I didn't really work on it the way I should. But it's coming back. But then like last year, it was like it was Kansas Day, and I was just looking at. I did a K mix or Kansas mix of Gorilla. So, and I felt like this was the first of its kind because I grabbed the MC from Topeka, Busy, Wichita, Big Sam, Lawrence, Chase Compton, and then who else? Oh, Stun, who was at Garden City at the time.
Okay.
So then myself. So Salina, Garden City, Lawrence, Topeka, and Wichita, all on one track, right?
Which is hard.
Yeah, crazy. And we shot a bit of a video for it, but it just didn't. We never finished it. And so I was looking at it, it's like, dang, it never got done. It was just one of those regrets. And then I was like, man, I wish there was a way that I could still sort of showcase how dope I think Kansas is.
Right.
And so that was kind of the idea. And one of my guys, DJ DB out in Oklahoma, had like this Oklahoma playlist. And I was like, man, I could do a Kansas playlist. Like it's nothing. Like I can do that.
Yeah.
Like I know, like I've done enough in the state and know a whole bunch of people that's doing music that I can.
Have you learned a lot from it? Have you learned a lot from the playlist? As far as like who's all out there?
Who's all out there? I'm learning like really good cats come up. I'm also learning there's way too many rappers.
Way too many.
Way too many rappers. I think at the last count, I've documented about 370 rappers that were on streaming sites or like SoundCloud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's 375, and I think that's like 300 too many. But
you did a numbers lesson one day about that. I forgot what it was though.
Yeah.
Do you
remember? I don't remember the exact numbers.
It was 375. You said there was 375 artists, and there, like, you broke it down some more. You were like, there was this many artists that are actually on streaming services, this many artists that are actually getting this amount of number. Something like it equivalent was like to. There's too many. There's too many.
There's way too many rappers. But then also too, I think there's a lot of rappers that are hobby rappers.
Yeah.
And aren't taking it serious because the only requirement, honestly, besides if it's good, the only requirement to even be considered for the playlist is that you have to have music on the streaming sites, like on Spotify, on Apple Music. For it to be in the year of our Lord 2020, and you're still sending me Reverb Nation links, that's telling me that you're not being serious.
No, not at all.
At all.
If you send me a DatPiff link, I instantly know you're not serious.
You're not serious. You're not. SoundCloud, but still, like it's not. That's
Those
not.
Those Meg Thee Stallion contracts are for the SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah. I can't.
People like rappers like you are the reason why they have these contracts. And it's still not going to be as good as Meg's.
No. But yeah, those are the things that sort of dictate to me how serious you are. Or, how knowledgeable you are.
We're here on that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, the requirement on that. So yeah, I've just learned that, okay, a lot of you guys are just, you shoot me some stuff from YouTube. Like you have a video, but for whatever reason, I can't find that on Spotify, which is completely backwards to me. You know what I mean? Like there's TuneCore, there's DistroKid, there's so many other ways of distribution. Yeah, there's other distribution outlets that are there that you're not using that are super cheap.
$20 for a whole
$20 for a whole year for what's that? That's DistroKid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how are you not taking advantage of this? All this money I'm seeing in the videos, and you didn't think to put 20 of that towards DistroKid? There's people who have done a lot of talking. I see it all the time as far as like Wichita rap. A lot of dudes just, bragging and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I can't find none of their music on any of the streaming sites. And labels don't care. I mean, for the most part, labels don't care about SoundCloud as much as they used to. They want to see what you're doing as far as the streaming sites.
They want to see how serious you are.
Yeah. So again, I don't Reverb Nation, don't even talk to me about that. Like if you're talking to me about Reverb Nation, I don't care. And they don't care.
Nope.
They don't care.
Nope. That's equivalent to artists now when I do a graphic, any type of design for them or any type of work, I'll say, got the cash out? Oh, bro, I got the money on me now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. If you still use Western Union, I'm assuming you're into some stuff. I assume
that you itching.
Or selling. That's what I'm thinking. Like I'm thinking something. Like you part of it. But like, yeah, like it's 2020, man. Like the amount of information, the amount of things that are at your disposal that either you just flat out are not looking at, or you're just thinking, no, this is the way that I've done it. This is the way I'm always going to do it. And you're just hustling backwards to me. And
that's one thing that's it's not just one thing, but it's a real big part that separates these people that get the Meg deals and then those people that can actually stay independent.
Yeah.
What made you stay in that role to give not sign any contract? How many contracts have you been presented with?
Quite a few.
I'm curious.
Quite a few.
I know you got the number. How many? 7.
A little higher.
11.
Yeah.
11 different contracts. Why say no to all of
them? It was more like the long term. It wasn't beneficial to me.
Okay.
Like it was more like a short term deal, and I don't think there was room for me to leverage.
But you could leverage later, right there.
I could have.
You could have.
I could have, and I could have done it, and I could have flipped it. But I feel like
Could have got 20,000 right there.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. But I mean, I had to pay that back. Record labels are banks.
Agreed.
So you gotta pay that back, and then make sure that you're doing like, and you gotta keep doing that. So.
Well, I'm in Salina, Kansas.
That makes it worse. To me, that's what I think.
Why?
I mean, on one hand, it's okay because I feel like you have a built-in fan base. For me, I can only speak for myself. Like I have a built-in fan base, but I
have to remember everybody's not you.
Yeah. Like I have a built-in fan base and I feel like that they're supportive, but were they going to be supportive enough to where I have to clear this $20K that I owe back? You know, it's recoupable debt. You know what I'm saying?
I believe a Cash Hollister show could make 20,000.
Man, I wish
at least two.
Least two. It can make two.
It can make two because of
it's made two
because of Cash Hollister Cash Hollister has 20,000. And you told me already, if I get that 20, I'm definitely flipping it. So Cash Hollister has 40,000 and he has to pay back 20. I 100% believe that if you have that type of budget, Cash Hollister can make that 20 bands back in 2 shows.
Maybe. Like, I think back then, I don't think so. I think now, yes. Back then, like, I was still trying to figure that out.
Then why not hit a side deal right now with one of these?
I mean, you know, that's
because I know that if you send the music now, you could get that stir.
And right that's something. But again, I think
you can sign a 2-3 year two-three album deal.
But that's where I think that's where I'm at now. Like I don't know. Like me as far as writing and albums and stuff, man. I don't know.
Do you write as much as you used to?
No. I don't have a lot of time. I think that's the thing too. I think the problem, you know, the problem with all these doors that have opened as a result of music is that it's kept me away from music. You know what I'm saying? Like I was working.
You're on your way out.
Say what?
You're on your way out.
That's what I'm saying. Like so it's almost like the deal now would be like, okay, I would have to finesse it to where like I can bring somebody in or like, you know, start a label or a production thing. You know what I mean? That's the only way that I think that it would be beneficial to me now and it makes sense for me. Because like I said, I don't really care about the game now to where like if I was to do a 3 album thing.
You're still trying to master a perfect ponytail right now.
Yeah. Like there's other things that I'm just kind of concentrating on. And so doing stuff behind the scenes. Like I like placements, TV placements, commercials and stuff like that. Like that interests me more so than being an artist.
Have you ever been into any type of production?
I tried producing. I produce in the sense of like I can sort of tell you like what I want. So I guess it's more like Diddy. Like I may not necessarily be on the boards, but I can tell you what stuff sounds like, what you should do. You know what I mean? Like vocal production or like how you should say a certain thing. Like I produce in that way.
Got you.
But but beat maker, nah, that's not my gift at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a list of some names.
Okay.
And I would love to get your opinion and your thoughts on these people. They might be people that you don't know. They might be people that have some type of importance to you. So,
oh, geez. All right.
I'm going to get this first name wrong.
Okay.
Proverb,
yeah. Friend. He was he was a big blogger that was kind of well known like in the SoundCloud community, Two Dope Boys, like the blog era. Like he was a blogger. And you know, he died unexpectedly a few years ago of a heart attack, but I think he was an encourager. That's what I'll say. He was an encourager. Like he always checked in on me just to see how I was doing, how things were going. Not even just with music, but just with family. But like he would always give tips. Like if you go to proverb.net now, I think it's still up. And like, shoot, like if you're an up and coming rapper, that should be your spot. Like you should bookmark that website, because he literally breaks down things that you could, do as an upcoming rapper. Obviously it'll be a little outdated, but I think that's who he was. He just always helped. He was never, wanted it no ulterior motive. Like, he just helped. And so, like, when he died, you can see it. A lot of people paid their respects. Cats, well-respected bloggers. Dart Adams, I remember, from Boston, wrote like a big, tribute to him. Shake from Two Dope Boys, remembered him. The SoundCloud founders was on Twitter and was talking about Proverb.
That's crazy.
So, like, he was super impactful, and yeah, his loss was definitely felt.
Love and prayers out to his family.
Yeah.
Dylan Chase.
He's one of the coldest white boys
I
I've
did my
ever
homework,
met.
didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I'm surprised. That's really surprising. Dylan Chase, he's part of Die Daily too, but like, yeah, just super cold cat, like great artist from Oklahoma. He actually just got last year he was on the #1 Christian song called Symphony with Switch. Yeah, and it was #1. I want to say 12 weeks. Don't quote me on that, but it was #1 for 12 weeks.
It was #1 for more than a week. that's
right, like that was like Billboard charts #1 Christian song. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, like super cool lyricist. Huge family man. I brought him to Salina last year. But yeah, somebody who I just admire as an MC, and I admire as an artist, and I admire him just as a family man, as a father.
Dope
figure.
Okay, we got a couple more.
Okay.
Rolls Royce.
Royce. He's like the uncle that I like to talk crap with. Like, we we share stories. Like, he's a little bit older than me, but like, we share stories about like the Wichita scene, or like some of the Kansas scenes coming up and now, and like just some of the things that we come in contact with now. So like, he's always good for just advice and stuff like that. But yeah, like we just cut up a lot.
Dope.
Yeah.
XV.
XV. I look at him as an architect. I think there was a blueprint of Kansas rap that he started, I think. I mean, obviously, like, if you do your research, The Noise is the first, group from Wichita who really made some moves. And then, of course, Swansack. But I feel like, as far as like when the blog era hit, I think XV was heavy.
That man was right there.
He was there. Like, he was there, and I think there was there was a blueprint for that he had started. And like, I was getting his beats when he was doing Kingsman Productions. So when he was 15, 16, I was rapping on it. Got a song called Get Prepared. That was an XV beat. Back in the day. So yeah. So I would say, yeah, he's an architect. And he's an enigma. And he knows why. He knows why.
Last one.
Yep.
DJ Official.
Wow.
Did I do my homework, Cash?
Official. Now, here's the thing. DJ Official is a Christian DJ. He DJ for a Cross Movement. So any of like the old school Christian hip hop fans would know Cross Movement. I wasn't necessarily, I wasn't close with Official, but I think just the things that he did for the subgenre, in trying to, I think, bridge the gap between like the super Christian rappers and then the rappers that are Christian. Like, he brought those particular factions together pretty well. So like, I didn't necessarily know him, but I know that when he passed, it definitely left a huge dent in Christian hip hop. But yeah.
Prayers out to that family as well.
Yeah.
in me doing my homework on you, I ran into your videos of these are my 5.
Yeah.
Ran into those videos.
Yeah.
What's your favorite, personally?
Of those 4?
Yeah, of that series that you had.
And I really, I've been trying to bring that back for the longest.
Because when I looked up the page, there was 6, maybe 5 or 6 videos.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's about, I think my 5 favorite beats. I think being able to sort of just talk about production. I'm a music nerd, so I love production. I love looking at credits. I love, figuring out where samples come from if they use them. I love figuring out who's doing what. And so for me, beats was a huge deal for me. So yeah, to talk about MOP, to talk about Lido, to talk about Nate Dogg and Bink, those were big things for me.
Are you ever gonna bring it back?
I would love to. Nandez and I, we've talked about it. It's just trying to get scheduling, and then trying to get sponsors. And we've talked about guests and high profile guests. So that is that's been even more tough. And every time I see Hip Hop Evolution come out on Netflix, it just kind of kicks me in the face a little bit. Yo, you better hurry up, because I feel like These Are My 5 is super Netflix worthy. It's a Netflix worthy show.
Definitely.
So yeah, I would love to bring it. I would love to bring it back, but there's some things that have to kind of come into play. But yeah, I mean, and I have my season written already. I already know it. I got my 5 topics off top. So if anybody's watching this, y'all got some bread, that would be great.
Anybody with the bread, go ahead and give it up. I'm gonna be hitting some sponsorships here. I'm gonna go ahead and just send them your way.
Hey man, yeah man, because like I said, I feel like it's good content. But yeah, it just needs a push.
What do you think has gotten Cash Hollistah in these rooms to have these conversations? Cash, you sat here and you were picking the logo for the new downtown.
Yeah.
Not every rapper gets to do stuff. Not every rapper gets to do shit like that. Dang.
Yeah. I think it's networking, and I think it's really the product that I put out and the things that I do. I execute it well. The product always has to be top notch. I think it's 2 things that I tell people that I think will get you very far. I'm from an area where we're always about excellence. I always, being a person of faith, I say that if my God is excellent and anything that I do that is a representation of him is less than that, then I'm lying to people. So that's always been something that I've lived by, and so I'm always about excellence. If it's corny or if it's not up to par, I'd rather just not do it. So everything that I've done has done the product has spoke for itself, and that's what's opened certain doors. They've seen how I operate, they see my visuals. I don't put out a lot of visuals, but when you see my visuals, I'm on it. It's professionally done. Yeah. Everything that I do is clean. Flyers, everything, logos, stuff like that. Even with the radio show, all of that stuff is done top notch. Mm. So that, and then also too, I'm just not I'm not a jerk. I mean, I'm a jerk, but I'm not a douche. I'm not a douchebag. I think it helps if you're not that. There's ways to be assertive. There's ways to get your point across, but to be an underhanded scumbag, to be a slime ball, to be a snake, to be, a vulture, to not be a person of your word. Those things hurt you in the end.
Yeah.
To be, to be fake and to talk about people, because word gets back.
Some people just can't take honesty.
No.
Or truth.
No.
Or just even the small little bit of criticism.
Yeah. So those type of things. And I think, being able to take the ball and run with it, not fumble, not pump fake. think I do, you know.
Definitely. Also in your history, I've seen that you and DJ Carbon have been rocking for years.
Yes.
You guys have known each other for a while. How did that relationship happen?
Twitter. Man, early Twitter, like '09 Twitter was like the best Twitter. The best Twitter. And so like I was actually I came back. I was in Salina for about a year, and then that's when I joined Twitter. And I started linking up with Wichita Twitter. And ICT Hip Hop at the time, Kyle, big shout out to K Will. He was running ICT Hip Hop, you know, at the time. And so I was following him. Of course, XV was kind of how XV and K1 was how I learned about K Will. And so I started hanging out with Wichita Twitter, kind of talking and stuff. And then, you know, that who to follow thing came, and Carbon was one of the names, and Carbon ended up like, oh, okay, this is Wichita. And then we started talking because both of our oldest daughters are named Brooklyn. And so they were actually born the same day, but a year apart. Like his daughter is like a year older. Crazy. So like that was like our first thing. And then when I started that web show, the Cypher Show, he was my first DJ. And so like I just went down to see him one time, and I was like,
is this when he was rocking the?
No, he wasn't doing that yet. But I saw him and I was like, yeah, dude, I need you. Like when we started the Cyber Show, I was like, all right, I need you to do it. So,
how did the radio show happen? Like, how did that start?
The radio show? People, I tell the story to people and they don't think they believe me, but it's absolute truth.
I'm not gonna believe it.
I was actually coming back from work break, and I was listening to their Throwback Thursday, which they have every Thursday, and I was listening to their image bed or their production bed, promo bed that was going to lead up into their series. So you know, they was just doing like these little quick mashups of like 90s stuff, 80s stuff, and I was like, man, I wonder if we could do our retro dance parties, which we had done for like 3 or 4 years, which were like outdoor 90s parties, dance parties, downtown, free to the people. And we had been doing that for like the past 3-4 years and was getting like a lot of love for it. But I was like, I wonder if we can do a retro dance party on the air. And so I just went to the station and I just asked the program director. And so like for me having sort of that idea to the program director saying yes took 15 minutes. Yeah.
So was Carmen already in the...
He didn't even know at the time. Like I just had the idea and I was like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, blah, blah, blah. 1 hour, we're gonna do this. 90s, we'll do 2000s, we'll do 80s. It's Throwback Thursday, but we do it the way that we normally do when we're doing these retro dance parties. And I hadn't talked to Carbon yet. It was just an idea. And the program director was like, yeah, give me a demo. I was like, okay. So then I called Carbon and I was like, hey man, what you think about this idea? And so
he loved it.
He loved it. And so then we did a demo. Program director's like, when you want to start? And so that's kind of when we started. Was January 31st was our first.
How long ago was this in plans?
I literally thought of it that day when I came up with that idea.
But I'm asking, so.
Oh, okay. Like when from
planning process.
Okay, so the planning process, it was 4 weeks.
So what I'm wanting to get to is when we were at the round table, was this already a plan?
Somewhat.
You sneaky.
Somewhat. Yeah, it was already there. Like I already had the name and everything. It was getting the demo, getting Carbon to give me the demo, and then me putting my stuff. And say anything. I've also learned that you know, it when it happens, then talk.
I got you. Will we ever get a follow-up to the best of Cash Hollistah so far?
Probably not. I think you'll get it like an album. Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
I feel
I
like
want to, like, I need
though,
to do
like
it. I need an
the
album.
idea and the concept of that though then needs closure.
Okay. I mean, that would require me to do a whole bunch of like Lucy's and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I'm just gonna put a thought in your head.
I gotta get the album done, man. I gotta get it done.
What's the album now?
What do you mean?
You said I gotta get the album done.
Yeah, I just gotta get it out. Like, I gotta get the album done. Like, I've had it.
There's not an album in works now.
There's an album in the works, yeah.
How far along do you think we're done? Probably about 30-40%?
It's probably right. It's probably 40.
Okay. Because I figure you probably got about maybe 6 to 8 tracks. Looking to have about between 12 to 14?
Yeah, I mean, 11 to 12.
You gotta create the concept for the cover, then you gotta do all that.
I already done, like, that's already done. I think it's just me sitting down and being able to actually write. And like, there's a couple features that I want. So
let's talk you out of telling some of those features. Who are some people that Cash Hollistah would want on some tracks?
For the album, I don't want to say, but yeah, I've always wanted to reach back and like get some of like the OGs or like
Barnett.
Yeah, I would love to do a track. There actually is a track.
Recently picked up a pen.
Oh, you did?
He's been working.
Good for him.
What if I told you that in 2020 we're actually gonna hear a verse from Chris Barnett? I'm actually pretty soon.
Hey, that's great. I've been wanting to do it. I told him to put Triumph on the streaming sites. I was like, dog, just put it on Spotify. Just put it on there, because like, when I do the playlist from the K, like, I want to reach back somewhat into some of the classics. And I feel like, and I tell that to all the artists. I told Smooth that too, like back in the trying to get effed up days. Like, put that on the streaming sites. It doesn't matter that it's old to you. Like, there's people that want that and they're consuming in this way. So like him, I told PD, I said that I'm a player. Put that on there. Managed Log, I put Barracuda on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, get these Wichita classics on there.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah. And so like, it shouldn't just live on YouTube. It needs to be where everybody is at. And so nostalgia's in. So why not do that? Like, we also need the history. We also need, like, these kids need to know the history of that. So like Denoise, I tell Red, put that stuff on there.
I feel like you understand the importance of this playlist and how special it actually is.
Yeah.
I think you understand how special it really could be.
Yes. It's got a lot of potential.
This is something that could live forever.
Yeah.
You have a lot of memorable work.
Yeah.
Cash, we're at the last question.
Okay.
The last and final question. What's the best advice Cash Hollistah's ever been given?
The best advice. I think the best advice that I've been given has always been something like that my grandma had given me, and it deals not even necessarily with music, but I think just with life. One hand with the Bible, one hand with the newspaper. And the reason that she said that was that, you know, there's a lot of current events, a lot of stuff is going on that you want to be knowledgeable about. But you always want to relate that then back to the word. Like, how does this line up, you know, with scripture? And as a believer, how do you respond to what is in the newspaper?
Got you.
And so I think that's just something that I've learned just with life. And I think just navigating as a believer as somewhat of an anomaly, because I'm not your average Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily subscribe to American evangelicalism. I don't rock with that. But I feel like I just go to the basics of Scripture, to understand, that the Jesus that is portrayed now is not the one that really existed. And I subscribe to that. Gotcha. And so like I try to follow that as best as I can. The basics of that. Anything that's added on is that extra that doesn't necessarily apply to Scripture. And it's not even really what Jesus was about. So like the God guns, all that, like that's not that's not Christ at all. What people call social justice, it's the gospel. That's what I learned. And so being able to apply those things to the things that are going on in my community and being abreast of what's going on in the community, that I know what's going on and that I'm not so like in the clouds spiritually that I can't be of any earthly good.
With what's actually.
Yeah. Like science is good. Science is key. Science to me is confirmation of faith. So to be knowledgeable in these things that like are really real things, and being able to apply the word to that, I think has helped me.
We're on the same page.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
So
I feel like I learned a lot about you, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a lot about you. I feel like this was long overdue.
Yes, it has been.
Overdue.
It has been.
I really enjoyed myself.
Good,
I really
man.
enjoyed sitting down with you.
Yeah.
I hope that you were impressed with some of the questions that I was able to.
Yeah, you pulled that Dylan Chase question out. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
that's good.
I did a little homework. That
was good.
You've kind of been seeing like what I've been going on or whatever, so I thought I would like allow this time to flip the switch. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah,
if you don't, it's cool.
No, I do. So, all right.
If you don't have any questions,
no.
Cool.
So we were at the ICT roundtable.
Yeah, let's talk.
And so I had brought up a question, or no, the question was brought up as far as the 5 songs, ICT songs of the year.
Yeah.
And I said, Crim's Personal should have been is 5, and I was the only person to say that. And you said that he didn't really do much to work on it, and so I was like, okay. And then that's when Flim said that he had never heard of it, and then I just was like, I'm just gonna let y'all talk. So why was that a thing? Like, why did you feel that way?
Flim answered the question. Flim never heard of the song. That should answer my question. Or my statement. That should be the answer to my statement. Because me and you both know what Flim does. We know, and we also know when someone's gonna be playing us. You know what I'm saying? Like when they gonna kind of be fibbing a little bit. We know, we'd be able to tell if Flim 100% has heard the song before. Flim was sincere when he said that. And a song by Scott Storch that is being pushed by, you could argue, one of the top biggest known artists out here. Someone just by the likes of Flim didn't know. He hadn't heard the song. Personal doesn't, at that point, I don't know if Personal even had 100,000 plays on YouTube.
Okay, this is why I said that. And to be honest, I think where I was wrong was that Personal was actually a 2018 song. Right. So like even technically it probably shouldn't have been mentioned. But I feel like
you had alliterated at that point, you said if it was. So yeah, we're on it.
Yeah. So but I think that Crim, like that Personal record, sometimes I think when I was listening to you guys talk, I felt like, okay, I think you guys, when y'all talk about Wichita, Sometimes I think y'all talk about North Side when you say Wichita. I think you maybe say South Side, but like Wichita, I think includes Bel Air, it includes Eastboro, it includes all these other places. So that's when I'm thinking of records, I'm not necessarily thinking of heroes. No, you know what I mean?
Even if we're not, Krim made a point to tell me that every show that he's done in the last, since he came back from Cali, the shows that he's done have sold out. And he's headlined those shows. And that's 300 plus.
And that's me saying, okay, that's why I say personal, because I'm not looking at a certain section of Wichita, I'm looking at Wichita, period, as a whole. And so that's why I was looking at that. But
that song was set up and planned to be that song that was supposed to
catapult him. And it didn't necessarily do that, but I think it opened the door.
For us, for me and you, I think that I would be able to say, like, I need to take back as far as what I said at that. Because if you don't have personal, I don't know if Krim's getting on tour with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I really don't think so either.
If you don't have personal, I don't know if that New York trip for Krim is working out the same way. So I do believe, to an extent, I do believe that personal did do some things that it was supposed to do. But I also believe that they kind of left the door open. Like they kind of left some meat on the bone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I felt like, me personally, like I, again, love the record. I almost felt like there should have been a remix that was in the tuck 2 months after that came out.
At least ready.
Like ready, and then like, cause Krim was making these connections, and I felt like some of those connections could have been features on that record.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get what he's doing right now. It makes sense, but I felt like just to extend that, I'm always about that too. Like remixes, like if you got a single and you know it's fire, extend the life of that record for as long as you can. That's why I was saying that about Heavy, straight out of Kansas. I was like, dude, that record he could still work that record reasonably, and it still would go.
And now that we've talked about this, Heavy should have kind of pulled the handbook from Gorilla. He should have pulled out that playbook.
That's why I said the Kansas. Like that's what I was saying. Like getting rappers from Lawrence, Kansas City, Salina, whatever, and getting on that Straight Outta Kansas remix.
But see, I think you would have been a smart phone call, because Cash has everybody's music right now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I feel like I'm the most known unknown.
I agree with that.
Like, I agree with that. People know me, but they don't know me.
To me, I would use an example of the likes of like a Killer Mike.
Okay.
Killer Mike is known to those that are in that.
That are in the know.
But if I ask my aunt, does she know who Killer Mike is? She probably gonna say no. I feel like that kind of applies for you. That like if I mention Cash Hollister to Big Sam, he's gonna know exactly who I'm talking about.
Right.
But like if I might mention, to the newer generation, they might say, well, who is it?
Right.
So
yeah,
it all varies.
Yeah. So I mean, that's something that I kind of wish Krim would have done as far as with personal. But yeah, like if you got a hit single, and I say that now, if you have a hit single that's going to do that does work, find ways to extend the life of that record for as long as you can. Krim. Yeah.
So, I know I sat with Krim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sat down with him, and towards the end of the interview, last thing he says is like, shout out to my boy RELL-ism. He's like, I don't agree with everything he says, but I respect that he says it.
Yeah. So that's it, man. I'm pulling for Kansas music, man. That's why, like, one of the reasons why I do that playlist is really because I think that we have a lot of talent here. There's a lot of good people, not just really from Wichita. There's cats from Kansas City, man, that if you actually go outside of your city bubble and you look, man, we got a bunch of stuff.
Look at the Junctions, look at the McPhersons.
Yeah. Cat named Juby Truth, Kansas City. Crazy. Lindsay Alderman from Lawrence, R&B singer. Crazy.
You could go on for days.
All day, man. All day. Braille Watson, Topeka.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Kansas is not as big as you think.
Mm-hmm.
It's only it's like 2.5 million people. You know, but it's not it's super small. You just gotta get outside of your block and look.
Dope.
Reach out. Network.
Well, man, Cash, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you coming up. I appreciate also what you mean to the culture in Kansas.
Thank you.
Because I 100% believe you are a pioneer in this business. Someone that I was really looking forward to sitting with. Definitely look forward to sitting with you again.
Yeah.
Because I think we're due for another roundtable.
Yeah, that's going to be fun too.
And I also think that I have to bring you in for the podcast now.
Okay.
Now that we've done the professional side,
okay.
I feel like we need to get on our BS, on our shenanigans, and just wild out. Because I know that we could talk a lot more about these subjects. Yeah. But man, just continue to do what you're doing. Keep being a great motivational person to not only me but everybody out here. You know, you're very inspiring because not only are you doing a lot of things that you love and a lot of things that I want to get into, but also you kind of hold it down as far as, like you said, being a father and a husband and also doing those things. So I really appreciate you just being that light, man.
Hey, man, appreciate it, man. It's blessed to be a blessing. Thank you for having me.
Man. And let them know too. What else can they look forward to? Can they can listen to the radio show?
Listen to the radio show. Cash Hollistah's Block Party. So that's Hollistah, Hollistah, not the white boy clothing. AH at the end. Oh, so Cash Hollistah's Block Party. 92.7 The New Zoo. It's not jamming 92.7 because Wichita, I know that people get confused whenever I say that. Yeah. 92.7 The New Zoo is actually Salina, but then you can also get that on the app.
Yep.
Rocking M app. So you can get that on there. Yeah, I think just stay tuned. Parents of high school seniors. I can say this real quick. I don't know when this airs, but I think it's going to be before the deadline. It's Cash Hollistah Scholarship. $1,000 to a Central Kansas or Kansas high school senior.
What year is this? 3?
Fourth year.
Fourth year.
So if you want to know more about that, go to thecashscholarship.org. Deadline is March the 31st to apply for that. So high school seniors, definitely hit that up. I'm from the K playlist. New playlists updated every 3 to 4 weeks. That's the aim. Sometimes a little bit longer than that because I'm busy. But 34 tracks to represent the 34th state. I'm from the K playlist. You can find that on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube. And we rotate it, like I said, every 3-4 weeks, man. It's good stuff.
Represent your own, man.
Yeah, man.
Like we always have music that we listen to. We always listen to these new artists, these random artists. We play a song and then we just let the music just play on. So why not, get on a playlist and listen to artists that are from
homegrown.
Kansas.
All
homegrown, which is real dope. So really enjoy that. But everybody, this has been an episode of RELL-ism. I'm your host, Rello, that's RELLO, and I'm here with my man, Cash Hollistah. Appreciate the time, bro.
Yes, sir.
Salina, what up? Y'all stay out the streets. We out.